So, this is it. Thank you all for being here. I have been up less than 20 minutes. Here comes the show. In 3, 2, 1. Whoop, wrong button. 3, 2, 1.
Let's watch Dennis Ralston demonstrate a proper backhand. Study his positioning, even his intensity. Now we speed it up slightly. See the way Mr. Ralston has that body rhythm and readiness? Now we have almost normal speed, yet are still slow enough to study his every move.
Tonight I want to thank Dave.
The Morning Stream, now gluten-free.
Hey, hello everybody. Welcome back to TMS. It is the morning stream for October 29th, 2020. I'm Scott Johnson. There be Brian Ibbett.
Yar, it's true. Yar.
I can see him with me one eye. Yar. Good morning. How was your day?
Well, I've been up for hours, which is more than I can say for you.
No, I had a good night's sleep for once. We talked about it pre-show, but it felt good to actually not wake up constantly or just, have a really hard time falling asleep. I did go to bed a little late, but part of that was me dreading the night. I get to this point where I dread the night. It's like, oh,
really?
Yeah, I'm not going to sleep. Or they just that dreading that feeling of like I think I'm compounding the fact that I didn't sleep the night before by worrying that I will not sleep tonight either. You know what I mean? Like I'm just laying layers upon layers of paranoia about my sleep. And for whatever reason last night, the planets aligned in such a way that I actually frickin' slept, and it was great. So, almost didn't make the show because my alarm wasn't set. Anyway, it feels good to be here.
I'm envious.
Yeah.
But I did get caught up on Captain America Winter Soldier.
Oh, good. That's a great movie. Holds up.
It really does.
I love it. It's my favorite still, I think. I think of all the stuff. I mean, I love the final two, combo Infinity War. If that's one movie, that's my favorite.
You gotta treat it as one movie.
You do.
I think.
It's a big 4-hour epic. And if you look at it that way, that's probably my favorite thing they ever did. Mm-hmm. If I look at everything as individual films, though, Winter Soldier still has my love.
Does it? Yeah, it's up there for me. I think Civil War might top it just because of Spider-Man, because of Ant-Man, because they did so much in one movie and still not make it feel like, here's a quick cameo from Falcon. Hey everybody, I'm Falcon. All right, here's a quick cameo from Winter Soldier. Hey everybody, I'm Winter Soldier. It's like they do a great job of giving. They jam it chock full of characters, and none of them feel hastily thrown in.
I agree with that. People in the chat are going, Thor Ragnarok. I agree. It's an amazing movie. Oh yeah,
it's
right up there. I don't like picking favorites at all. They're all just incrementally, whatever. And there's some that are. So everyone always says Dark World's the worst, or freaking, what's the other one?
Iron Man 3 and Thor Dark World get.
For me, it's Iron Man 2. I like 3 better than 2. I hate it 2.
Oh really? Yeah. I like 2. I like. Tell me, correct me if I'm wrong, but Sam Rockwell elevates Iron Man 2 to something that it would not be without him.
Yeah, he makes things better. I'll admit that's true. That's like a bad hamburger with a decent pickle on it.
I just don't like kids thrown in to be the cute kid thrown in for, cute reasons,
Yeah.
The kid in Iron Man 3.
That's true. I forget about that bit. All I remember of Iron Man 3 was a really great sequence with all the suits fighting.
Sure, at the very end, yeah. And Guy Pearce is an okay villain.
Yeah. But then we also had that "You'll never see me coming." Like that stuff was weird.
Yes, and then I have mixed emotions on Mandarin. As a comic fan, you don't introduce a villain just to say, he's not the real villain. He's a guy playing the villain.
Yeah. But also that's a troublesome villain,
Wasn't 2 with the... Was it Mandarin in 2?
No.
No, 2
was the Electric Whip Man.
Whiplash.
Whiplash.
Yeah, that's true. I guess Whiplash was your big bad, and Obadiah Stane, not Obadiah Stane, whatever Sam Rockwell's character's name was, is your secondary.
Yeah, because you always have you always end up with two in these things.
Mhm.
Sometimes too many.
It's always two,
Yeah.
a master and a student.
Master and student. Sometimes three, and that's where you really go wrong. Don't do three villains. Do
Nope,
two.
Spider-Man 3, pay attention.
Yep.
No, you don't need three villains, three big bads in your
No.
film.
You could have gone with Sandman. Actually, you could have gone Sandman alone. He was pretty good.
Yeah.
But do Sandman.
It's that they
and
tried to
then-
do Venom, Sandman, and have Green Goblin be a villain for 90% of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Goblin Jr., dude.
Goblin
Freaking-
Jr.
I didn't like any of that.
Oh,
what
hi,
an
Peter. I did not hit him. I did not.
What an unfortunate film, Spider-Man 3.
Yes.
Uh,
Sorry. Anyway.
I have a fun list for you today. I want to
Oh,
see
good.
how many things you can guess here. It's not really a contest, but I thought it'd be fun to see if
I
you
would
could
have
guess.
clicked that had I not seen. Let's see how many Brian can guess.
Oh, good. I'm glad I put the right note on here.
God, I hope you're going to give me more than just guess based on this title. I hope.
I'll give you some additional information.
Please do. Thank you.
I have a list of 10 inventors, okay, actual inventors or people known for the creation/invention of a certain thing that are notable. They're pretty notable, who have all come to regret their creations. That's what sets them apart. 10 people
Sure.
who wish they wouldn't have done it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious if you can guess any of these. There's one on here that's like a major one. That's
Really?
a historically major one, yeah. But there are others that are just sort
Oh well, like probably Oppenheimer, right?
number
Like,
one, Oppenheimer. Well
yeah.
done. Yeah,
Yeah.
well done. He invented the atomic bomb, or was part of the team who did, but is credited as
Mm-hmm.
being like the chief brain behind all that. He says,
Totally.
despite the past associations with extreme organizations, Oppenheimer welcomed the opportunity to play a part in the war effort. Later, however, he had mixed feelings about the bomb. Quote, I have no remorse about the making of the bomb. As for how we used it, I understand why it happened and appreciate what the nobility of those men, the nobility of those men with whom I'd worked made their decision, but I do not have the feeling that it was done right. The ultimatum to Japan was full of pious platitudes. Our government should have acted with more foresight and clarity in telling the world and Japan what the bomb meant before we used it. He
They
regretted it.
set us up the bomb. Yes.
He said, he did say this, says, had I known the Germans would not succeed in producing their atomic bomb, I wouldn't have not lifted a finger. Meaning,
Oh wow.
if he'd have known they were just failing after failure after failure and weren't even close,
He wouldn't have bothered. Yeah, he wouldn't
he
have.
wouldn't have done it. Yeah. We'd have gotten there, though. It just wouldn't have been him. Unfortunately, man finds a way. All right, you got another guess? Any other guesses?
I know the woman who invented gender reveal parties really regrets inventing gender reveal parties.
Sadly, she's not on this. It must
She's
be.
not, but I
These
mean,
are all
she
physical
really
objects.
She really hates what they've turned into, and it's like, especially when there's wildfires that were started by gender reveal party explosions gone wrong.
Oh,
things
for
like
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would regret it too. I think she's right to regret it, but yes. Anyway.
Yeah.
Any others you can think of?
Tally Zorel says, Brian, you're Coverville. You're welcome. I did not see your message. No, that's from a great podcast, by the way. The name of which escapes me.
What is it? What are they? What?
Let's see here. I'm gonna look it up because it's a really really good. It's a good show. Well, maybe I won't because I picked up one of the new iPhones, Scott.
Well, you
and,
did you now?
I did,
Did it
and,
arrive? Did you get it?
I'm discovering. Yeah, I got it on Friday, and I'm discovering that I need to log into just about everything again, and I don't have time for all that.
Oh yeah, because it's all. I mean, it's fresh. Yeah.
Yes.
I feel you.
And I don't see the name of the show that I was.
I'm getting
I'll
the
find
Max.
it.
I'm getting
and
the
talk
Max
about it
this
another
year.
day.
I'm getting the Fatty
What's-
for the first time.
Are you going Max?
Mm-hmm. Then those pre-orders aren't till what, the 4th or something.
Yeah, of November. Yeah, I think so.
I think I'm going to do it.
Are you really? I was tempted to go big again, but I'm just fine with the size of. I had the 10R, and now I went with the 12 Pro
Yeah,
because I wanted the good camera,
yeah.
and
That's a good device. I mean, there's nothing. The thing is, that size is still bigger than what we used to call the big phone.
it totally is. Yes, exactly.
So,
all right,
yeah.
okay.
I'm just getting the big
Anyway,
fatty.
the inventor of the Chia Pet probably hates the fact that he invented the Chia
Oh
Pet.
man, incorrect.
No, so maybe I don't know what. Can you give me a name and I'll see if I can guess what their invention was that they regretted?
Oh, that's a good one.
Or would it be too
I like-
obvious?
no, I
Okay,
like that.
let's try it.
I like that. Here you go. How about
I'm
this?
sure Ben Franklin regretted something. He had like 1,000 patents that he.
Yeah. Plus, he had a lot of dirty French sex. It was gnarly.
There's nothing wrong with dirty French sex.
Oh, I don't know. I picture Patrick.
It's my
in the
favorite
room.
kind of pastry and my favorite kind of sex.
There you go. All right. I'll give you this one. This guy's name is Vincent Connier.
Vincent Connier. He invented the Connier hairdryer.
Incorrect. That would be incorrect.
Guess that's pronounced Conair.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, this may not be as easy, but this is going to be one you're going to agree with because you
Okay.
know, with your graphic design roots and everything, you're going to go, oh, yeah, of course. This is a terrible invention, and he should be sad that he made it.
I have another. Yeah, okay. I have a guess once we're done here.
All right. This one is Comic
just-
Sans.
Comic Sans. Yeah. Okay. I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
Invented Comic Sans. Yes.
He says, if you love the font I made, you don't know much about typography, he said. It says, if you hate it, you really don't know much about typography either, and you should get another hobby. His view, and one shared by lots of others, that the problem with Comic Sans is not with the font itself, but its overuse and its misuse. Designed for Microsoft application aimed at children to be used as a replacement in speech bubbles for Times New Roman, Connier never imagined it would become so widely used and derided. So I agree with that. It's not, the font isn't horrible in
The font itself isn't bad. Yeah. Right.
It's just its overuse and misuse. He's right. He's totally right.
Exactly. And the other issue is it is a font that is readable, A, by small children, and B, at small print sizes.
Right.
But because of its just bad smell, it won't. It shouldn't be. So is the inventor of the QWERTY keyboard on that list?
He is not. I don't think he regrets it. I would.
Because it was invented to slow typists down so that they wouldn't jam the whatever those hammers are that would hit the ribbon and print on the page.
Right. It was it was a purely practical choice that had to do with the mechanics of the typewriter itself, and we just all stuck with it. He's not listed though, but I wonder. I mean, maybe he just never voiced his displeasure with it or whatever, but maybe he didn't live long enough to see any kind of, anything other than the typewriters where it made sense.
Right.
You know?
Not the keys. I mean, the keys are the things that triggered those hammers that hit the page. That was the thing that would get stuck. Oh, and Dan Wally says that's just a legend, not true.
Oh, is that not true?
Yeah.
Oh, well, hey, we like our myths.
I like our ancient Chinese secrets
Yeah.
on our
I swear, ancient
Dying
Chinese
from,
secrets has come
dying
up
from-
like 5 times this week, and I love it. I love it.
Pop Rocks and Coke.
Yeah, I love that it keeps coming up. It's great. There's nothing wrong with that.
All right. Anyway, okay.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll
Give me
give you a couple
another inventor name. I'm going to guess their invention. This part's actually kind of fun.
All right, I'll give you a hint.
All right.
As a coffee drinker, you might approve
Oh.
this one. John Sylvan. What would he regret
John
for
Sylvan.
inventing?
He invented something that maybe is a boon to coffee drinkers. Starbucks.
You
He
are.
invented Starbucks.
Let's see if you're correct. Incorrect. He invented coffee capsules, the stuff you see in like a Keurig.
K-cups?
Yep,
Yeah.
K-cups basically. They're a patented design used by many, and they all had to license it from this guy. So he invented these pouches the machines would run to give you steaming cups of joe. Had no idea the monster he had created. His invention created things like Nespresso, Tassimo, and that other one I said, Keurig. It says, and it made it easier made it easier than ever for millions to grab a regular caffeine fix. He says, I feel bad sometimes that I ever did it. He said a few years ago, it's like a cigarette for coffee, a single-serve delivery mechanism for an addictive substance. Wow.
See, I don't see that as a problem, but the problem with those is they're never enough for me. I like a good 14 to 16 ounce cup of coffee, and if you try and do that with one K cup, you're going to get a watered down mud water. Is basically what you're going to get.
Watered down mud water.
Watered down mud water, I guess, is maybe a little redundant. But
Yeah, but a great title. Someone will get that in there.
flavorless mud water is what
Yeah.
you're gonna get.
That's true. He's on the line right now. Let's ask him. Would you like an espresso pouch right now, sir?
What?
Oh, he is super fired up. He's not interested. Forget it.
Yeah. No.
Okay, how about this one? I'll give you another hint. Back when you worked full time, perhaps this was a thing that you work full time now, but you know what I mean. When
Come
you worked,
on, Scott.
when you worked for the man. Sorry.
Oh, because I'm a podcaster, I don't work full time.
Oh, that came out totally wrong. When you worked for the man and went to the office and did stuff like that,
Yes.
you may have seen these. There's your hint.
I'm gonna guess one of those clocks you punch, like a little punch card clock thing that goes in.
Is it punch card clocks? Incorrect.
Show me punch card clocks.
It's the office cubicle. Bob Probst.
Oh,
invented
sure.
these.
Probst.
Yeah,
Look at that.
Probst. Not related to Jeff Probst, as far as I
How
know.
do you know that? Yeah, I was gonna say maybe he.
Actually, I
is.
don't know. It's true. He says he was working as a consultant for Herman Miller in the 60s. Bob Probst introduced America to the new open office plan, and with it, the office cubicle. It was, in 1997, he was reflecting back and told the New York Times, quote, it was designed to give knowledgeable workers a more flexible, fluid environment than the rat maze boxes of offices and what they've become. Companies saw the invention as a way to save money, doing away with individual offices and replacing them with open spaces with cubicles. Probst came to lament the invention, says the cubicalization of people in modern corporations is monolithic insanity. So he regrets his invention. We regret the air.
Yeah, I regret it too.
I kind of do too.
I'm trying to think if I ever worked. Yeah, I guess I did at US. I worked for the phone company US West before they became CenturyLink and all that stuff out
Right,
here.
right.
And I was in a cubicle. I was in a cubicle with a bunch of great people though. A guy named Dave Flagle.
Dave.
was
Oh, we've
this
heard about Dave
twitchy-
Flagle before.
Twitchy mustachioed dude.
When you say twitchy, describe what you mean. Like, what do you mean?
Dude, he was twitchy. Like he's like, so, and he was the boss, right? But he was kind of thrown into this boss role that he shouldn't have been in.
I love that.
It's like, Brian, can you work on the nameplates for Bill on the 7th floor? Yeah, could you, you know?
And he had a mustache. All right.
And he had a mustache. He was like really nervous, and he'd constantly, you know, if there was silence, he'd start whistling like the Simpsons theme because that had just come out, and he he did all this stuff in whatever the precursor of Photoshop was. I want to say it was Pixel Paint or something along those lines.
Pixel Paint sounds right to me.
Yeah, and basically he took nude photos of his wife and then put her on space landscapes.
Wow.
And he would do that during his break on our giant at the time 17-inch monitors, and be working on that. And so at one point he had a party at his house and invited basically all the stuff in our we had like 5 employees in this graphics department for the phone for US West.
Yeah.
And he invited all of us over to his house to have dinner, and I think we played games or something. And we walk in, and there's all these photos on the wall, naked photos of his wife in space landscape.
Oh my gosh. That's great.
His wife's name, I probably shouldn't say because I'm thinking people could probably Google him now that I've said his name, but
What was his name? Dave what?
you're totally looking him up, aren't you?
I want to see if any of this art exists as a thing
Oh,
that I
God.
could put on my
Yeah.
wall. I guess probably not.
His name was Dave Flagle.
Flagle.
And
Let's
I
just
will
see.
say that when you search for him,
I get a lot
at
of
least
doctors.
on Google, yeah, he's not a doctor. You get a guy who's dressed up as Vivian from The Young Ones. That's not him. But you go, yeah, he's like the second photo that comes up.
Oh, is he really? How do you spell Flegel?
Yeah.
Am I spelling that wrong?
Flegel.
Oh, like Flegel.
And I want to say, for the record, he's a good dude. He's a really, really nice guy, and he's he basically kind of got dropped into a management position.
Just wasn't super
that
prepped
he
for
wasn't
or
ready
whatever.
for. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
I get that. That'll happen to you sometimes.
Yes, exactly. So
All right, here's my favorite one. We'll give you one
Yes.
more of these, and then I'll just rip through the rest. Let's say this one is internet related, very to the very core of internet related. Any guesses?
The guy that invented. Boy, there's so many things you could bitch about with internet. The guy who invented the Nigerian email scam.
Oh, interesting. Let's see if that's correct. Is that right? No, that's incorrect. Tim Berners-Lee, the
Tim
godfather
Berners-Lee,
of all things web, regrets the double dash. So your HTTP : / he regrets that. He says he created the World Wide Web, got a fair amount of credit in the bank for that. He said, major regrets about the web. He says we wouldn't find it too difficult to forgive him, but his mea culpa relates to only two characters, the double slash at the beginning of every web
Really?
address.
That's what he regrets?
Yep. He says
That's an odd.
he says this. He says, really, if you think about it, it doesn't need the double slash. I could have designed it. I don't know what accent this is. I could have designed it not to have the double slash, he said, according to Business Insider. So he must be annoyed every time he puts a web address into his browser.
Oh, well, yeah, but who types? I mean, I guess very, very occasionally I end up typing the double slash if I'm. God, when do I do it?
I have to do it sometimes for Twitter because it doesn't like .tv addresses and won't link them.
Oh, yeah, and I guess I have to do it in Dreamweaver when I'm editing a graphic that's that's pulling a graphic from a source. So I guess I do have to do that.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me. God, there's so many other things, Tim Berners-Lee, you should be apologizing for with the internet over the double slash.
I mean, what else? The thing is, though, all he did was build framework and the platform, right? Mm-hmm. So what else could you even regret? Like, you could regret where certain aspects of the internet have gone, but that's not really his fault,
Right.
Like,
right.
I don't know what else you'd regret. This makes sense to me because if you're like a programmer type or or whatever, it's going to come down to something weird and codey,
Mm-hmm,
It's not going to be like, I regret that Reddit was created and people post pornography. Like, I don't think they're going to get like that.
Right.
Okay, here's the rest of these. This one makes sense. Mikhail Kalashnikov. He is not happy because he made the AK-47.
Yeah, exactly. Sure.
Which is a very popular gun. A lot of people have died from it. He does not like that.
The Kalashnikov is one of those guns that I always tried to pick up in GoldenEye 64.
Yep. Yeah, basically. He says, I have come back to the same question. If my rifle claimed people's lives, can it be that I, an Orthodox believer, am to blame for their deaths, even if they are my enemies? He wrote in a letter to the head of the Russian Orthodox Church in 2010. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he wasn't happy with that. Here's one. Ethan Zuckerman for the pop-up ad on the web.
Oh, really? So he's the guy who invented the pop-up ad. Oh.
Yep. He wrote this little bit of code that started that off, and he regrets that real bad. Here's one.
How does he feel about the Brave browser?
Yeah,
because I haven't seen one in a long time.
Probably feels pretty good about pop-up blockers in general, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dong Nyong. Do you know that name? Is that familiar to you?
I don't know.
Flappy Bird.
That's the guy who invented Flappy Bird, Dong Young.
Yeah, he was making $45,000 a day, and yet he still regrets it. Easy for him to say.
Why?
He basically says
kind
this.
Of a crazy thing to regret,
He said, let's see, downloads soared, controversy raged. After 50 million downloads, the advertising revenue that was hitting around $45,000 a day, Nguyen, how do you say his name? Had enough and announced that he was going to withdraw from the app stores. Quote, I cannot take this anymore, he tweeted. Apparently, the publicity generated by the game had attracted the attention of the world press, and he was bombarded with calls, tweets, and emails. The removal of the game from the app stores did little to quell the publicity. He received death threats while phones and with the game already installed sold on eBay for small fortunes. The app store was flooded with copycat titles. He just hated the attention. I'm sure he enjoyed that money for the brief time, and he's got it all.
I'm sure he
now.
did. Yeah.
Probably retire on his Flappy Bird money, but
yeah. I mean, I guess you know, we have just the right amount of attention on us, which is nice. If we had a lot more, we'd probably hate it. If we had paparazzi, I don't know if Don Young had paparazzi waiting outside. Oh, where's he going today? What's he going to do? He's going to the Peaberry Coffee for a polar bear. But
That's very specific where you went with that.
I love those. I miss Peaberry Coffee and their polar bears. If
Yeah.
that's one thing I could bring back in this world, it'd be Peaberry Coffee and their polar bears.
Peaberry.
But you know, if we had paparazzi, we'd probably hate the fame as well. And I
Oh,
think
we
we
would.
have like, I wouldn't call us famous. We're famous in this kind of in our kind of little Leo Laporte identified units, but that's just enough for us.
Oh, look at the size of his unit.
Perfect size unit.
Couple of final ones here. Pepper spray by someone named Cameron Logman. It's an old FBI agent in the 80s who helped turn pepper spray into a weapons-grade material. Says he thinks it gets used way too much for bad stuff. So that's your
Just
final.
invented it to be a seasoning, and they turned it into a weapon.
Oh, I forgot about this one. The Raleigh Chopper. I never even heard of this. So before BMX arrived on the scene in the late 70s, if you wanted a bike that wasn't of the drop-handled bar racing variety, Raleigh's Chopper was one of the few options. Loved by millions for its comfortable saddle, laid-back seating position, huge Harley-Davidson-esque handlebars. It was one of Raleigh's best-selling bikes in the 70s. But the designer, Tom Caron, was not as enthusiastic about the comeback last year. He says that Chopper wasn't a very good bike. It was terribly heavy. You wouldn't want to ride it very far. Okay, I remember people riding this thing. It had the weird like backrest that was a separate attachment to the bike. That's an ugly. It is an
ugly bike. Yeah.
I'm with him. Well, that's a fun little list that we had right there.
That's totally fun. I'm trying to think of like other car models that the person who invented them probably regrets, like the thing.
Yeah, no kidding.
Although I did want one of those when I was younger because you
I
could
did,
change out the panels and.
I had one of those Green Machine. Do you remember Green Machines? Remember those?
Yeah, I totally did.
Oh.
Did I ever tell you about my Green Machine story?
No, please do. Tell me that.
Man. All right. So the Green Machine is the answer to the big wheel, and instead, I'm just saying this for the chat room or for people who aren't familiar.
Yeah.
Instead of turning the wheel with a steering wheel, you had two levers, and you basically rocked them back and forth to steer the Green Machine. You still pedaled the same way with your feet on pedals that were on the front wheel, but instead of steering with the steering wheel, you steered with two levers back and forth.
Right.
And either my mom or my dad got me one of those. We were living in an apartment, like this really cheap kind of crummy apartment in Denver. And after their divorce, and it was just my mom and I, and didn't have a lot, you know. I invented my own pinball machine with wooden blocks and stuff. I was like,
Yeah.
you know, didn't have much. And I think my dad got me a Green Machine, and I just loved that thing.
Yeah.
And
me too. Love mine.
so I rode it all around the sidewalks, all around the apartment building, down the around the area, and but we didn't have room for it, or for whatever reason it was outside at one point.
Okay.
And came out and it was gone. It wasn't where I had left it.
No.
And I searched all around and couldn't find it. And then finally I find it in the dumpster. These two kids who were jealous of it had smashed the wheels
Oh.
and broken the bars that held those two little levers that you'd pull back and forth, and then threw it in the dumpster.
Lame.
Yes.
Did you beat the schmear out of him, or what'd you do?
I didn't, because I was
You were a lover, not a fighter.
I was a lover, not a fighter. I wasn't a monster.
I loved Green Machines. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
That thing was so
Yeah.
cool, and we were right the perfect age for it. It was just freaking great, man. Everybody,
Yeah.
and that's the truth. It created, people wanted it, and if you had one and they didn't, you had to keep your eye on that thing. It's going to get stolen or thrown in the dumpster or whatever.
Totally.
What are those kids doing today? Where are they now?
Exactly. Probably in jail.
Probably in jail.
Probably in our.
We'll just assume they're in our
jerks.
correctional system now. Yeah. Why not?
Exactly.
All right, Brian, show us your latest minifig painting, will you please?
Yes, I should have been prepared for this, but I'm getting there. I'm gonna just put it in our chat in here. And then if
Cool.
you want to share it,
Yeah,
oh, can I not?
I'd love to do
There
that.
we go. I can do it right here.
Let's see.
Photo and right there and send. So it's going into our morning stream
Let's see.
discussion here. Except I sent. Why did that one go in?
It.
I just sent you a picture of my
some Pokemon.
Yamask getting photobombed by. There we go. Now the right one's going up.
All right. Yep. I was gonna say this doesn't look like a minifig. Oh, there we go. Look at this.
There's that is Crossbones.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
one
I
came
like
out
it.
really good.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it a lot.
And you can see how tiny he is based on my ginormous fingers there. But
Yeah, look at your big mitts. That's a tiny
Yeah.
little thing that you got.
it is a tiny, tiny little thing. And so, like getting metal edging on his buckles, I did that with a dry brush and some silver paint. I did metal for the two, his kind of brass knuckles, but they're probably steel knuckles.
Yeah.
And
What's interesting?
moving on to, maybe I'm going too advanced by moving on to Ultron. And
Oh, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Sounds like a challenge
It's-
that's worthy
it's
of
a
your
lot
time.
of challenge. I mean, basically, he's one color. He's really two colors. He's silver with like red accents in his
Mhm.
little
That's
breaks
cool.
between the metal.
The smaller the stuff is, though, the harder it is, man. I'm impressed with how good that looks. That's really
Yeah.
rad. Well, look at you painting everything. It's fantastic.
I'm painting everything, and I'm
Paint it
catching
all.
Pokemon. Apparently,
Nice.
the last thing I did was take a picture of my Pokemon so that I could get some hearts and get photobombed by a.
Well, at least we didn't get a
Mischievous.
photo of Ryan's Saturday night. Hey, it's nurse. Let's play nurse role play night with Tina.
Yes, you'll never get one of those because
Okay.
I take those on my iPad for the resolution.
I see. I'm
Yes.
I'm picturing you walking around with an iPad now. A great big iPad.
Tina's mom takes all her pictures with the iPad. It is just the funniest thing to watch.
Oh, that's funny to me. All right. Well, there's all that. That's all well and good, but now this. It is time for the news, brought to you by.
Brought to you by Coverville today at 1 p.m. Mountain Time at coverville.tv or Twitch TV/Coverville. Here's the title of the cryptic title of today's episode. Sometimes they come back. Ooh. Yes, it's songs, covers that feature a guest appearance by the original artist. So things like Shirlene from Archer's cover of Danger Zone that has some guest vocals by Kenny Loggins, or Jamie's Cryin', the country version that has David Lee Roth making a little bit of an appearance. Stuff like that all came together because of a Guess the Connection I did a couple weeks ago that I had so much fun putting together. I was like, oh, I've got a bunch of songs like this. This would make a great show. And hopefully it will today at 1 p.m. Mountain Time at twitch.tv/Coverville.
I believe in you. I truly do.
Well, thanks. Well, thank you.
You betcha. Okay, let's look at this story about the. There's some drama in the queer penguin community. Okay, I know you're not.
Is that a term that I'm unfamiliar with? What penguins?
Well,
I just finally learned what bears were and twinks, and now I have to learn what penguins are. They just well-dressed, well-dressed people in the LGBT community.
Well, in this case, they're literally the birds that can't fly. Penguins, gay penguins. They exist.
Oh,
They exist. They're real. Here's what it says. Drama is afoot in the Dutch queer penguin community after two gay lovers with a reputation for trouble stole an entire nest of eggs from a neighboring lesbian couple at the same zoo. All right.
okay.
Within the queer penguin community at large, fostering eggs is a relatively common thing. On multiple occasions, zoos and aquariums have gifted unhatched eggs to gay and lesbian couples, meaning the birds. Again, there's not people we're talking about.
Right,
Exhibiting
yes,
behavior.
couples of birds.
Yeah, exactly. They're exhibiting behavior that suggests they're desperate for a chick, like building mosque nets out of pebbles. So what'll happen
Mock
is
nests.
what I say, mosque.
You said mosque nets.
Oh, I did not mean that. I meant
You spoonerized it.
mock nests. So fake nests, basically. They'll set those up and they'll do it. They'll do it out of instinct. And so when they see that happening, you're like, all right, well, that's probably this couple will care for
They want a
these
baby.
eggs.
They want to care for a baby.
Yeah.
Do they give them little bags of flour to carry around to see if they're ready to be parents first?
An egg. They carry around not
Carry
a
around an egg,
penguin
and if you
though.
take just like a little chicken egg, and if you take good care of this egg, then we'll see about getting you a real penguin egg.
Yeah, don't break it. Then they break it. Let's see. With the queer penguin community at large, but rather than demanding the same of their caretakers, one pair of African penguins at the Derenick Park Zoo in Amersfoort.
Amersfoort.
There's two O's in there, and it's throwing me off.
Fort. Yeah, that's a fun word to say.
Kind of is. Instead, took the matter into their own claws by snatching the eggs from two mothers-to-be, according to the news. The conniving boys, the two gay penguins, have since been sharing caregiving duties. So they're actually taking care of the eggs, taking turns keeping the eggs warm and foraging for fish. What's more, it isn't the first time the fellas have resorted to unlawful action. Last year, the same couple stole an egg from a different penguin family and faced zero repercussions for doing so. It's no wonder that after the eggs didn't hatch, they felt emboldened to steal again. Meanwhile,
Can't
the
they
females...
can't the couple that they stole the eggs from just go and steal them back during Dancing with the Stars or RuPaul's Drag Race or something when
That's
they're
what I'm saying.
distracted?
Yeah, if they get to their weak spot, find out what they're distracted by, and
That's right.
go get them.
Oh, they're giving away free copies of 2019 Cats the movie over at the frozen banana stand. All right, let's take the egg back.
Yeah. I love this idea, though. It's such a great, like, we do this a lot as humans, right? We anthropomorphize our animal kingdom.
We do, yes.
And they're doing that here, obviously. But yeah, they're actually gay and lesbian penguins. Two females just stay together their whole lives.
That's very cool.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Nothing at all wrong with that.
Good job, penguins. All right, Kazakhstan, the actual country.
Yes.
The one that Borat's always going, hey.
Department of Agriculture and Wildlife.
They have adopted officially Borat's catchphrase, very nice.
Very nice.
It's their official tourism slogan. So, like, you're going to literally see, like, a tourism pamphlet in English that'll say, visit Kazakhstan, very nice, at the end
That's
of it.
awesome.
There was a time when the government of Kazakhstan banned the movie Borat and threatened to sue its star Sacha Baron Cohen for its depiction of its country in the outrageous mockumentary. Those days are over. Following the release of Borat's subsequent movie film, the sequel to Borat Cultural Learnings of America for Make Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan, the Kazakh Tourism Board has officially adopted the character's very nice catchphrase as its official slogan. A series of ads released on Sunday featured visitors experiencing different aspects of the country, from architecture and landscapes to food and culture, before repeating those two famous lines. A description of the promos on YouTube reads, "How can you describe a place that's surprising in just 2 words? As a wise man once said, very nice."
Nice. We watched that last night. We watched the sequel, and Tina and I
What'd you think?
enjoyed it very much.
Yeah. Whereas was I right about the heart bit? There's a little bit of heart in there.
There's a lot more heart in there.
Yeah.
And holy cow. I mean, I'm always impressed with Sacha Baron Cohen's ability to lock into that character and not crack himself up, because I'd have such a hard time with that, especially if I,
it's a special power. I don't know how you do it.
It is.
Yeah.
But the girl who plays his daughter is, as you said, you were right, even more impressive. Just the fact that she can do all this stuff with him, sitting there in the breast implant lobby, going back and forth and talking about it, and not cracking themselves up. Like,
I know. I don't know how you do it. It's a special kind of comedy. I don't get it.
it really is.
How you
And
pull that stuff
Vengeance
off.
says the ballroom scene is something to behold.
That is those people. Oh my gosh.
Every scene though, I sit there and I wonder what they told to the real life people in there to explain why there's a guy with a camera in there.
Well, I'd love to know more of that, and also the scene where he's at the rally and he's singing.
Yes, right.
There's a on YouTube. There's a scene. Well, I guess they showed it on Colbert, but there's a cut scene, not a cut scene, but a behind the scenes thing.
Yeah,
where once those guys got wise to what he was doing and who he was, they like full on attacked him. Like he had to go hide in a trailer and hold the door shut with his feet. Like they were trying to beat him
I
up.
don't doubt that. You mean the guys at the rally, or because the backing band, I'm guessing, was in on it.
They seemed like they were in on it, but everybody out in
Yeah.
the audience was pissed.
Yeah.
So they were like, he had to wear like a bulletproof vest and everything. It was bad.
Jeez.
So the stuff, he's obviously goes through a lot of stuff for his thing. Yesterday, somebody on the YouTube comments was just going off because we like him. I guess apparently there's a faction of people who really, really hate
Of course
Sacha
they
Baron
don't.
Cohen.
Sure, that's.
Why
I bet
wouldn't you?
Rudolph Giuliani doesn't like him.
I don't think he likes him at all. Not after that. You have to admit, okay, they stop it before anything weird happens. Weird
Yes.
stuff was happening. That was
yeah.
weird.
And they stop it before anything really weird happens, but weird stuff was happening.
Yeah,
And,
he's patting her on the leg the way he was, and he's.
and
just,
if I was Mrs. Giuliani, I'd be asking her husband a few questions about that.
Yeah.
I already know his daughter is basically disowned him, but
Well, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
He's a turtle. But anyway, the I just loved like the Jewish temple ladies. I love.
oh, they were so sweet and so like
they were
like
great.
so welcoming and like, come on, I don't have a big nose. I'm not gonna eat you. And I guess
Yeah.
this is spoilery stuff, but
Yeah,
they were so damn sweet.
they were great, and the black lady trying to help her was really nice. Like,
yes, and
that
she
stuff.
was the one the babysitter.
yeah,
I was trying to figure out how they talked her into putting a camera into her car for when they were driving around so that they could capture some of that discussion.
well, a lot of it. My understanding with how some of this works from talking to that reality TV guy that we had on the Current Geek thing. He said that what happens a lot of the time is you don't have to get waivers before. But if you're going to go to air with your footage,
Sure.
you then
Yeah.
have to inform people what you did. So at that
Totally makes
rally,
sense.
you would see 2 or 3 people whose faces were blurred. That means
Yep.
they were people that absolutely refused to be on there.
Specifically, the guy giving the Nazi salute. Yeah, did
Yeah,
not want
that
to
guy.
sign a form.
He wasn't into it. Now, how that applies to Rudy, I don't know how that works. Because
Jeez. Yeah.
is there a legal responsibility where he has to, or is there something about public figure law that like changes what happens?
Could
I
he
don't
have
know.
signed it beforehand because of it being an interview and saying, yes, I allow whatever we record as part of this interview to be aired, and
Oh, good point.
because he would have probably had to sign something for that interview to happen, and the agreement on that.
Right, and if you have a camera in a room somewhere that's just like wedged into a corner of the room or something,
Yeah.
that's just like me having a Ring camera at my house, right? Like it's not.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know. Obviously, I'm no lawyer. I don't understand how this stuff goes, but and for those who would go, you think any of those Borat moments are real? You're up in the night. I get that people are skeptical, but
Sure.
I just liked, if you're just looking at this thing as a whole, it was entertaining and cringy, like the first one, but it also had these moments of like genuine, like I cared about people for a hot
Yes.
minute,
Yes.
and that's weird for these. So I like that. I thought it was all right.
And I don't know where he got that Donald Trump mask, but
Yep.
holy crap, that thing is both realistic looking and creepy
Oh
as
yeah,
hell.
yeah. It had like a Uncanny Valley times
It
10.
did, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
That was really weird.
Anyway.
Everything about that. How did he not just get tackled? Like, oh my gosh.
Jeez, that was right. Yeah, in addition to the rally, that seems like the place where you would absolutely get taken out by Secret Service.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But I'm not surprised it's all very controversial because, that's the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, my sister, Wendy, will be here. Yeah, that's right. We're related. It's hard to believe sometimes because she's super smart. And I'm kind of dumb. But she's got some amazing stuff to say. And today, we got a listener email that we're going to tackle. We'll get to all of that in a minute. But before we do, Brian has a fiduciary commitment through a contractual agreement to play a song.
I do. This is a
No! Don't go in there! You don't have to die! Well, no one has to die at 30! You can live! Live!
No, my movement is advancing into the hole, so that's everything.
You are not prepared. This is the morning stream.
And we're back, everybody. Welcome back. Man, I groove on that kind of thing. I like that a lot. That was good.
That is good stuff, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to get me some more of that. Did you call the whole genre dream pop? I've never heard that before.
Dream pop. Yeah.
Okay, so if I search for that, can I find things that are...
You can totally search for dream pop and you'll find a lot of great stuff.
Okay.
I
guess
bet there's even like, I'm sure Apple Music has a dream pop, like a dream pop essentials or a dream pop, a few dream pop playlists and things like that. It's
I really like that.
yeah.
I like that kind of thing in general, but I just never know what to call it. Just figured it was just like, I don't know. I like when things have names and I can find it.
There we go. Shoegaze and dream pop essentials, and then Mojo Magazine has a great dream pop playlist. Pitchfork has the 30 best dream pop albums.
Oh, yeah, look at this. Oh, there's tons of these. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll
Mazzy
have
Star
to...
being a good one. Cocteau Twins, the Sundays.
Oh, I like the Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
Well, now
There
I'm
you go.
gonna discover some new things this afternoon.
Excellent.
That's how that's
Let me know
gonna
how
go.
that goes.
Yeah, I'll let you know. My musical horizons have been broadened. Broadened.
Excellent. Excellent. That's
All
not
right.
the right term though. We call it ladened.
Oh.
Ladened.
Oh,
We
labia.
don't say broad anymore, Scott. It's
La-
not broad.
Labia. What? All right. My sister's heading in.
Welcome, Wendy.
Let's get her in here. Fix this up real quick here. I see her. She is online. She's muted, though. Hi, Wendy. Oh, she's not muted now. Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. How the heck are you?
I'm in my car.
Oh. Oh.
I was able to panic download Discord as I forgot about my kid's orthodontist appointment.
Oh,
so,
fun. Are they in there now? They getting the work done now?
yeah, I mean I'm not inside the building or anything. I'm just
She's out in your car, chilling.
in the car chilling.
Yeah.
He thinks he's getting his braces off. He's probably not.
Oh, why, wait, is this Abe?
Yeah,
Why does he think he will and why isn't he?
because
Just
he's cocky. He thinks things just happen that are good, and he's wrong. Nah, just kidding. So he got a job. Did I tell you this? He got a job, and his first paycheck comes tomorrow, and he gets his driver's license learner's permit tomorrow, and he thinks he's getting his braces off. He's under the illusion that 3 good things happen in a row. And
Oh.
I told him it's 3 bad things, not 3 good things.
Yeah, it's never 3. Good things don't come in 3. Bad things
Yeah.
come in 3s. Right.
Exactly. So
Okay,
he's
well.
fooling himself.
If he needs reinforcement, just tell him Uncle Scott concurs. Only bad things happen in 3s. It'll be all right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
It's really comforting.
Are you okay where you're at to do
Yeah.
this?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well,
Good.
good. This is fantastic. My
Are
sister.
we going to hear are we going to hear you go through like a drive-through at a McDonald's or something at any point during this?
No, I don't think so.
Got to get a chicken sandwich in the middle of the morning.
No. I think I'm good. So
Well, that's
go
good.
for it. Yes.
That's fantastic. So, just as a brief catching everybody up who maybe is here for the first time, my sister Wendy is an actual therapist. She does therapy for real people all the time, and then comes here and helps us with our fake people. No, we have real people too.
Real people, real
Your
problems.
fake problem.
That's right.
That's
But
right.
They do have their own problems. We like to talk about them, explore the human condition a little bit, and we're going to do that today. Oh, I forgot to play this.
Everyone knows it's Wendy.
With an I, though. With an I, not with a Y.
Bye.
All right. My mom's tendency to name her kids with stripper names continues. All right, let's move on. Here is today's email. So this came to us, and they weren't sure. It was so funny because they were. There's part of this email that I'm not going to read that basically says I'm sure there's way more worse problems than this. But Wendy and I both saw this email and went, no, this is perfect. This is a great thing to talk about, especially given kind of where we're at and other things. So here's this email from Brad. I'm not going to use his last name. He says, hey, longtime listener, love the show. I love your sister's therapy segment, but I never thought I might need it myself. My wife and I, along with our 2-year-old son, decided we wanted to move out of state. Sounds like a Wendy move.
I'm back that up. Go for it.
Yeah, you like that. We put our house up for sale, and it sold very quickly. We were able to find a house to build in a new state. Shortly thereafter, I got cold feet. My wife was very very understanding. We decided to do our best to stay in the current area. However, since our house had already sold, we still needed to find a place to live. We found a couple of houses we liked, each of which had some minor issues, and we signed a contract on one of them. I think we were eager to get a house so that our anxiety and general unhappiness could be resolved, but we realized soon after a couple of days that we were both settling for this house and wasn't really what we wanted. Our realtor was incredible and managed to get us out of that contract. Then we found another house in a great neighborhood that we really liked. Let's see. And now we have bought that house. The new house is great. We have everything we need. Unfortunately, I'm still in a bit of a funk. I didn't realize how much I liked our current house. Evidently. It has a lot of sentimental value to me because our son was born there and has lived there his whole life. I feel attached to this house. I feel attached to this house that we can't stay in, meaning his former house. And my wife naturally has some trust issues. I feel I have done damage to our relationship. She and my son mean more to me than anything, and I just want to be happy again. I think that once we get out of this house and into a new one, a lot of my negative emotions will hopefully go away. I don't know, dude. I'm starting to wonder if that's going to do anything. Anyway, but I'm really curious if Wendy has any input on this whole mess. Does she have advice on how to cope with my attachment to our current house, or any other advice for me and my wife on how we can put this behind us and move forward to the next chapter of our family's life? Thanks. I could definitely use the help. Thanks so much. All right. So, it sounds to me, okay, there's that old phrase, grass is always greener on the other side, or, there's a million ways of saying
the house
that.
is always nicer on the,
Right.
the other side of the contract.
Other side of the town.
There's always sometimes you just have a nagging feeling you need a change, you need to, but it's not always the change you think you need, maybe it's, for some people it is, absolutely, like, pull up roots and start afresh and go somewhere else, and like that's totally the answer. And for others, that may seem like the answer, but it's actually not addressing the real question. So I'm guessing this is one of those cases. So how do you want to proceed with Brad?
I'm going to proceed with a really stupid story. Yesterday, okay, I have Jabra. Is that the name of the brand? The earbuds
thing?
Yeah.
Jabra, yeah.
And I have like consistently bent over to do something, and one falls out and lands in water. I mean, I can't even count how many times. So many times.
Yeah.
And the other day, I did that outside. There was snow and wet, or like a puddle, and it lands right in the puddle, one of them. And I was like, oh, well, that's fine. It never harmed it before. And so I dry it off. I put it in my ear, and it doesn't work for like 3 days. But so I just keep wearing them because I can hear out of the one side. Anyway, but I have to have both in. So I'm going along with my life like, well, guess that's broken. I don't know. That's how I work with the technology. Anyway, so I needed them. I asked somebody to throw them to me. I was down the stairs and they were upstairs. I'm like, could you just throw me the whole case? So they throw the case to me.
Yeah.
And it was just enough falling and crashing to maybe knock out whatever final drops of water were in there. So I put them in and they work. And I'm like, sweet, problem solved. And I had this thought related to the email, actually, which is sometimes you got to be knocked around to have something be the best thing for you, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, you can just go along and it sounds like comfortable. Here we got this baby in this house and this is life. And then getting excited about change and doing new things and then just kind of rushing into it. And kind of expecting everything to fall into place. I mean, Abe's a good example today of getting he's been in there a while. He might be getting his braces off. I could be wrong. I'll tell you when he gets in the car. Anyway, but that idea of like, we all want smooth sailing. That helps us think something's right. That's very built into us because it's a safety alarm, right? Like, oh no, it's all good because this is working out and this is working out and this is working out. But every one of us knows who's lived longer than 5 minutes that sometimes here's where the earphones, when they got jarred just enough, then they could be back to what they needed to be. And we all have stuff that comes along. We all have things that absolutely jar us. And yes, we wish it was as quick as just dropping your headphones, but it can be anything from disease or relationships falling apart or, job loss or, any of those things. It's so hard to see it from the front end and think, this is good for me. Yeah. I like this or whatever. Now, especially when it's something you've chosen, and that is So I'm going to give him the secret to the sauce. So,
Ooh, secret.
you know,
Okay.
we moved to Sweden and we're homeless for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you could say, you know what, people, this was not a good plan. Also, we missed our first flight. You know the whole story. Everything was a nightmare.
Yeah.
But this is hard, and here's where his anxiety sort of comes in and creates stories. Anxiety does that, right? I feel this feeling. Now, what's the story to match? And often the story to match, it's just logical. It'll be like, well, you made the wrong decision. Okay, I'm going to believe that. And now that's the thing I'm going to hang on to. But the truth is, I don't know if you move 4 children all under the age of 12 to another country, should it ever feel easy?
Yeah.
No. Or should growth, like sometimes there's little growth that doesn't hurt that bad, but most of the time, growth and change and opportunity, like that stuff hurts. And we can't always see it from the front end. So here we are. We've got this house. We're comfortable. We get excited. We think, let's do this. Let's do this other thing. And his wife, it sounds like, he's a little worried how it's affecting him being so back and forth and anxious. And that's a valid concern. But again, what is the story? So he's feeling anxious, and then his brain is telling him a story. Now, all of us have our stories that sort of originate maybe from childhood, from something that happened to us. It could be that just our worldview affects what kind of stories there are, and our experiences, the people we're around. Sometimes our brains are just jacked up on great stories, and they're like, all right, now everyone's going to be dead when you walk into the building. Like, what? And it's just the way your brain likes to manage whatever the feeling is you're going through. Yeah. So he's having a feeling, his mind is making up a story.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm making mistakes left and right. I'm ruining my relationship.
Yeah.
I'm so attached to this house, And none of that sounds crazy, because all of us could relate, right? I mean, it doesn't sound like too off.
Right.
But is it actually accurate? Is that the real thing happening here?
Yeah.
And the only way to find out is to back up and get a little space from that story and ask a couple of questions. Be curious about it. Like, be open that there's a potential different outcome or story here. Mm-hmm. And that all of the storytelling and all of the anxiety is protective. It's trying to keep you from getting hurt or making huge mistakes. And so it's serving its role. It's just a little too out of control, and you're just a little too identifying with it, right? Mm. So we just back up and go, okay, cool. Thank you for the information that I should panic now. But what's some, and I'm going to have you two actually do this. Imagine this is you. Imagine you're thinking you've made a mistake and you can't figure out how to fix it, and you want this house back that other people now live in. And you are just seeking for it's like you're trying to get back on the diving board. But you've already jumped.
Right. Yeah.
And so imagine this is happening to you. Now imagine creating a little space and adding curiosity here. What kinds of questions could you ask about the situation if it were you that would be curious and open to maybe it's a different story? Maybe there's more to this, or I don't have all the answers.
Oh, gotcha. So, right. So the house necessarily isn't the issue. It might be something else. And how do you get to that?
Yeah. And even if it is about the house, it's that you're sort of stuck on it being the way you need it to be or feel, and you don't quite have all the answers.
There's sort of a thing where, people will spend their way to what they think is their happy place. In other words, it's like, well, if we get the new car, everything will be better.
It'll be fixed. Yeah.
Well, if we get the new this, or if we get the new that, if I buy 10 more of these, everything will get better. And it feels a little bit like that to me for some reason, even though in this particular case, it's not like he's buying a house. He's not buying new houses to have additional houses. He's just moving around. But there's probably this feeling like, well, this is what we need. We do this, we cut cord and we go, and that'll solve the problem. But then it didn't solve the problem. And then he regretted it. It's kind of like, I had a little bit of this when we moved, because Nick was of a delicate age for a move. He was 12, 13. That's a hard time to move. You got all your friends. You're just sort of starting your social world, like it was really hard. So when we moved here, he really struggled. It was really hard for him. And we had long chats and conversations of, tearful conversations about how much he missed his friends and missed his school and normal stuff when a kid moves or whatever. But it had me really questioning, like, oh my gosh, did we do this purely for Kim and I, and were we not thinking about how this would affect Nick and his world? Like that was a reckoning, a little bit of one. It all worked out in the end, and he was fine, as soon as he sort of acclimated or adjusted. But still, there's like that feeling of we thought we were making the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
Or was it the wrong decision? Were we just blind to it being wrong? And I feel like that's what he's doing. He's telling himself that the solution, well, there's a line in the email where he says, I can't find it. One where he says, I think, here it is. No, I can't find it. He's basically saying when we get to maybe the next house will be the one. Like literally that's in here.
Solving maybe this one didn't solve the issue. The next one will solve the issue.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Here it is.
Yeah.
It says, I think we are eager. I think we are eager to get into a new house so that our anxiety and general unhappiness could be resolved. And it's just so much like that, thinking that is the solution. That the change of scenery, the whatever is the solution. It is for some people. Like I don't think there's people in my life like Wendy. You can't keep you down. You're going to go do whatever you're going to do.
I will do what I want.
Yeah, but I'm more of a put down roots and chill person and don't have that anxiety. I don't feel that need. I don't feel that pressure to constantly move up, move around, move there, move here. Like I'm moving up in other parts of my life, but it doesn't require the physical moving. And in fact, the idea of moving again, just even saying it in my own head, makes me want to eat glass, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I can't even imagine trying to do that right now.
It might be because I'm freaking 51 and I'm just not feeling it anymore. But anyway, to answer your question, I don't know if I really did. You
didn't. So ask. No, it's fine.
Yeah,
because
like,
what's the curious questions you can ask?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's already kind of started to identify what he likes about the old house. The fact that, the son was born there, lived his life there in that house for his whole life so far. And he realizes that, once we move, that connection is gone. We've got to start making new connections in the new house. But so I feel like he's identified at least one aspect of the old house that he feels like he's going to miss.
No, that's a great point. So what could he do with that?
Well,
it is like going to class, Brian. We're in class right now. Seriously. This is Wendy.
Yeah,
Wendy, Professor Wendy is at the front of the class.
Is it something as simple as like, take lots of pictures of your son in the house right now as you're packing up boxes, like get some memories of the change itself, maybe to be able to look back on and start making new memories? Or is that probably doesn't help, right? I don't know.
I think it's great. I think it's great because what you're doing is you're documenting. I mean, it's the kid's life story, right? And, one day, I remember this very clearly when we lived in Sugar House in Salt Lake, Mom coming up and we drove around the neighborhoods that her mother lived in, her grandmother lived in. She remembers playing in that backyard. There's a lot of joy in that, right? And nowadays, obviously, you just take a couple pictures and write a few things down. It's really easy to document that. So that could be part of it. That could be really therapeutic. That's great.
Yeah, that's a good
one.
What
else?
Got anything else, Brian? I don't have anything. I'm terrible at this, obviously.
Dang, I turned in my paper, Scott.
Yeah, I feel like I'm that kid in class who just doesn't have a good answer.
I guess another question would be, what do you feel like you're not going to have in the new house that you have in the current one?
Okay, that's a good one.
And maybe by analyzing that, he'll say, wow, I guess I actually do have everything, everything tangible, stuff that's specific and identifiable we have in the new house. And maybe it'll get him to start thinking about, all right, what are some of those intangibles that he doesn't have, that he'd miss in the new house? And he can start thinking about how he can start making those once they move into the new house.
I'm just going to copy off Brian's homework for this.
Good. Yeah,
I mean,
he's
Tina
good
and
at this.
Tina and I
He's
had
good at
the I totally relate to his fear. Tina and I years ago, like we had just gotten married and we were going to be replacing one of our cars, and we went to a dealership and we went through almost the entire process where we were just getting to the point where we were about to sign on the dotted line and commit ourselves to this car. And the guy left to do something, probably to go pretend he was haggling with the manager. And
100%.
Catch that Badgers game this weekend? Yeah. Can you get me tickets? No. But while he was gone, Tina and I are like, man, do we feel really good about this? And we both kind of not spontaneously, but simultaneously said, no, I don't think this is a good deal, or I don't think this is the right car for us. And I think we just kind of got railroaded into getting something that maybe we didn't want, or was more money than we wanted to spend. And so the guy came in and we were about to sign, and we said, you know what, we don't feel really good about this. And we're going to back out. And like, he was pissed. I think he was looking forward to a commission. He wasn't like, oh, you know what, I totally understand, it's totally fine. He said, yeah, well, thanks for jerking me around for the last hour.
Oh, yeah. Who's doing the jerking around, I would ask. That's
exactly. So it's like, you know, we're kind of like, and as when he did that, we're like, yeah, I think we made the right decision.
Yeah,
The evidence came after. And that's really how it works. It does.
Yeah.
That makes me want to break somebody's face. I hate that
Oh,
story.
yeah.
Oh, that annoys me. Wendy,
Tina
I think
still loves that story. I think Wendy went under a bridge.
Yeah. Wendy, you there? You there? Hello? Yeah, we lost her hard there.
Oh, no.
Let me try. No, she's still on the call. I don't know what happened.
Maybe she can hear us.
Oh, maybe she can hear us. I'm not getting any kind of green from her, though, so she's not muted. No rings of speakage, as Daryl once famously said.
Oh, yeah, right. No.
That was like a perfect connection until it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, it really seriously just could be. I mean, she's on her phone, so there's that.
Oh, she could have gotten a call.
Oh, right. She could have. Yeah. It would have kept her in Discord, but transferred her microphone and everything over to the new call.
Yeah, that happens. So
it might be somebody more important than us. It probably is somebody way more important than us.
If I had to ask, or if I had to guess, totally somebody more important than us.
That's right.
Well, we'll give her a sec here. Let me pause this. Okay. Let's save this here while we're here, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully, she's all good. Let me text her. Oh, she may have texted me. Let's see.
And we'll follow up. Follow up to my car story. She can hear us?
Yeah. I'll tell her to try let's see. Try quitting the app and then
turn it off and on again, please.
Yeah. Because this happened to me the other day where I had to.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Didn't I do
so
this?
So just as a follow up to that story?
Yeah.
We, a couple months later, we decided to get back into the car market to buy something new. And even though that dealership was the nearest one and had the car we wanted, we went to a different dealership, and just goes to show you, don't be a dick.
Yeah, don't be a dick. Wendy, you there?
Yeah, I am. Can you hear me?
Okay, now we can hear you. That was weird. Sort of.
You're a little robot-y, but I think it's just.
Your connection was like, you had the perfect audio there for the longest time, and then suddenly, boop, and we couldn't hear you at all. That was weird.
It's because I came to my house, and clearly my house sucks.
Oh, you were driving.
Came to your house, and it switched from the cellular network to your Wi-Fi because it found it was in range.
That's why.
That always screws things up.
Yeah.
That's lame.
Yeah.
Do I sound okay?
You sound just fine.
Yeah, you sound fine. You sound good. No stress. I don't remember where the hell we were. Where were we?
I do. Okay.
I was telling my story, and we were just coming back from my story.
Yeah, Brian has some great ideas here. Good homework. Good work.
Yay.
I mean, if you think about what it is that this person is missing and needing, and that's really important thing, is to sort of stop and take a minute, because you're panicking, right? You're like, we need somewhere to live.
Mm-hmm.
The market's crazy. There's a pandemic. Democracy's over next week. I mean, it's a stressful time. And I think is to sit down and like, what do you want? What do you need? What will make you feel good? And like Brian had mentioned, there is absolutely some value in documenting the stage that it's ending, and as well as grieving that, like actively allowing yourself to be really sad. Because being sad and letting go of something doesn't mean it's right or wrong to stay or go. That's not the decision. It shouldn't make the decision. There's many people who've never moved out of a space in their life physically or psychologically or emotionally because they refuse to grieve. And
Is
so
it because
stuck.
they're afraid if you start grieving, you'll never stop? Is that the fear? Is that the worry?
I think that can be there. I think it also is. I think people feel silly sometimes. Like, I'm crying over a house that, okay,
Yeah.
like it's
Sure.
not as common for we're all good if you had a funeral and someone died, but I think there's a bit of like, I mean, this is silly. Like, he even said, this is silly. People have real problems, like, I think he downplays what he feels. And that's maybe part of the problem here is anxiety sort of takes over when he's not feeling confident about how he's feeling. He's not connecting to how he's feeling or what he needs. Right. So that's really what this is about. In the end, it is just as serious as any other subject. Because how you respond to ignoring what you need and want, and, kind of back to the self-care thing of like, what does it actually look like to take care of himself in this circumstance? He feels like he's got to take care of the kid, take care of the wife, make sure everyone's good, house buying, all the crazy stuff that entails. It's really hard to stop and go, what do I feel? What do I need? And it may be a very quick, simple version of grieving. You take some pictures, you bury something in the corner of the basement.
You leave it your little mark somewhere.
Yeah, and recognize that the
Gonna
next
pee on the
place,
sidewalk.
exactly, do something. Well, and Brian, you bring up a really good point. The next place, instead of trying to find the perfect house in the perfect neighborhood or something that will assuage the anxiety or some of these feelings, is to just acknowledge those feelings and see what they want you to do. Like, what is that about? And it might be that you can really soothe some of that by figuring out the future place and what you want in it. So not so much about the color or the design or whatever, and more about what you want it to feel like, what you want your kids to experience there. How do you want your marriage there? How do you want one day you could have a party again or something? Do you want to make sure there's people in and out of your house? Do you want something fun about it, right? Like, think about those things that are non-tangible, and then just, you got to look for a house and get a sense. Check your gut. If your gut is, you're telling it like, hey, I trust you and you know what I want, then trust it. Just like Brian, you trusted it at the car dealership. Like, you just knew. Not for us.
Yeah, we did. Boy.
Yeah, but sometimes it's hard to, when there are other voices involved, it's like, because you got that angry dude, right? You got this guy that's like all mad that the deal didn't go through. You could translate that to a mother-in-law or some other family member having a problem with what your choices are, and there is a tendency for some of us to just not want the flack and the heat, so we just want to, well, okay,
right. Or you second guess yourself and say, wow, are they yelling at me because I'm making a really big mistake right now? Are they, is this a really good deal and we're blowing it?
Right.
Right.
Or is my mother-in-law right about me all this time?
You have to start questioning all those things. You never know.
Well, and this is why maybe everybody needs, I think I don't want to give away how car dealers make money, or how people sell crap, but they do a
undercoat. The undercoat is how they make money.
Undercoating, yeah, always get the undercoat.
Right. But if you think about the trickery to some extent is using this against people, which is like, for a limited time, there's only 5 left. So they create scarcity and rush.
Yeah.
And there's a reason. Why do they want you to rush? Because you're going to make I don't want to miss out. I don't want to lose. I don't want to decision. Right. We have a rule in our house that if anyone is hurrying you, the answer is 100% no. Like, nope.
Yeah.
And then what happens is, I'll tell you what, people that is not, they'll still sell you something. They'll still do the thing. It's not a rush. I promise.
Yeah.
They just do that because they're going to get a better deal off of you. So, but think about that for a minute. He's feeling this himself. Like, you got to hurry and make this better. Hurry and make
Mhm.
us feel
Mm.
like we are.
He's giving
safe.
him his own. He's rushing himself.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's trying
Yeah.
to sell himself his own car.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's an interesting way of looking at it. I don't know, man. There's something about his story that's ringing a bell for me, and I can't shake it. And I don't know what it is. There's this feeling of like, oh, I don't know what it is. There's something in my life that's like this. It's not a move thing though. It's something else where I just maybe it's you know what it is for me. It's me fighting time with things that don't actually change time.
Right.
Like time's moving too fast. I have so much I want to still accomplish and do. So I'm gonna just overwhelm myself with projects and things that I think are gonna work, because I used to have this idea: if you spin enough plates, that the plates that are gonna work out will work out because you're just spinning so many plates. But I'm starting to wonder if that was actually just me trying to talk myself into, overwhelming myself, and it's never gonna truly answer the question, which is, did I get whatever the goal is I wanted? I don't know if that makes sense, but there's like I think everyone's got some form of this, right? Like this isn't
parenthood.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Sorry.
you go ahead.
Think about that with parenthood. Parenthood is the place where this. If you have it before parenthood, oh boy, you add a child, and suddenly you're like, they're changing their needs. What do they want? And I have watched this over and over again, and you could say this is absurdly selfish on my part, but I am absolutely convinced that if the parents are happy, the kids are happy.
Yeah.
Because decent parents, of course, are going to make sure their kids are okay. But if you're miserable because you live in this place because you want that kid to go to that school, to have a pretend future that you've created as the answer, and you're dying inside, well, now they have a shell of a parent, and I don't think that school's going to save them. And I don't know, I'm not making sense, but that idea of like, this 2-year-old is going to be just fine if you and your wife are fine.
Yeah.
So stop worrying about that kid. 2 years old, that's the best time to move. That's the best time to do anything, because he is not going to remember one dang thing about it.
Yeah.
Right. 12 gets a little tougher, but it ignites this part of us that is like, I want to optimize life so that everyone's good and safe. It comes from a very good place, and a need that is, protective and wonderful, and we don't want that to go anywhere. We just need to channel it so it doesn't cause him to freeze.
Right. And it's funny how much anxiety I feel for him about stuff that doesn't sound like bothers him in this scenario. He's fine moving around. He's just not finding the satisfaction where he ends up. All I'm thinking of is, how many hours are you in your freaking loan officer's office, and how many times did you have to sign and initial things, and also how many truck trips did it take to move the shit from one thing to the other? Like, that to me is so overwhelming about everything about his story,
right,
that I need to mourn my reaction to this.
You need some grieving time here.
Yeah, that just sounds horrible. Oh my gosh! And just to want to get in there and go, I don't know if this is it. Maybe we need to move back, or we need to, like, that kind of talk would just, I couldn't do it. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Do it.
So this, Brad, you need to know you're better than Scott. And then number 2, I think I want to say one thing about his wife, because I think it's really tricky, especially, I don't know how newly they are together, but they're new to parenthood, and working together on these challenges this is tough. This makes or breaks people. And so to be really cautious and careful around that. So rather than holding all your thoughts and feelings inside and hoping you're just going to make it easy for her or better for her or fix whatever you think you've broken, really talk to her, tell her what this has been like for you, and she doesn't have to solve it. You can just like process it. Like, what is this about for you? And then what can you both do together so that she's feeling good and that you're feeling good? And this is like why you're in a team. So often I have to remind couples, like, you're in a team. We are not on a team. We're on a team, and the team needs, like, you got to ground that ball while that person, catches it on first base. There's my baseball analogy. Like, there's no such thing as doing it without the other well. And so, like, how does that look? And sometimes it's going to vary who's feeling better than others on different days. And that's true for parenting. So to be gentle with that part of this, because it really can take a toll on couples and, getting each other on the same page and going through some stressful stuff. But I do have one suggestion that is going back to this story thing.
Okay.
This is the cool thing about being a human, is that we make up stories, and often they just happen. So we think that's true. Well, guess what else we can do? We can change that whole story. we can rewrite the whole thing and also believe it. It's amazing. So for example, right now the story is something because you're facing it and it feels scary.
Right.
Now just sit down and imagine it's all over.
Okay.
Right? What elements about this are kind of funny? Or what elements about this could potentially lead to really cool things? You're just shifting the way you're framing this from problematic, desperate, concerning, failure, however you're framing it, and just back up a little bit and decide all right, I'm putting on some different glasses and I'm going to look at this slightly from a different angle and try to see what you can come up with. This is much easier when you get older because you have a lot of those retrospective capacities on stories you previously had to see what they actually became. And so often it's never like the story you've told yourself, right?
Yeah.
You can force that story down its throat and make that your life, or you can maybe create a little more flexibility in how you're going to identify things, and find the humor, find the irony, find that, later you go, wow, that's the best thing that ever happened, because you now can see further along. But the idea is to hold it a little less tightly right now, that what this all is. And you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. Well, no, but you do think that it's terrible, or you do think this is bad, or you do, some of that anxiety kind of language, loosen the grip on that. It's not right, probably. And you don't know either way. So again, it's like a safety blanket, but you just kind of loosen the grip a little bit and okay, maybe there's some differences here. So Brian, for years later, you and Tina can laugh about that car.
We totally do. That's the one. That is the good thing that we can, that we can, the joy that we can bring from that experience. Yeah. But we had to get, I was gonna say we had to get pretty far away from it to appreciate that, but really it was on the drive home we we started laughing about it. Yeah. We were imitating that guy the whole drive home.
Yeah, I can see that. This is this is good stuff. I don't know why I'm relating to this thing so much, because I don't feel the need to move, but just talking about moving gives me the willies. There's something here I haven't dealt with. I don't know what it is. It's just really bugging me.
And there's something I need to deal with, because I'm like, I want to move. What ideas? I love to pack it up.
Denver's a great idea. If you want, you want the snow of Minnesota, but maybe not everything else that goes with it. Maybe you don't want it to last from October until cold. April.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. No, it's funny. I have a friend who's moving from here to Colorado, and she is devastated. She's lived here her whole life, and that's part of my challenge. Is I always live by people that are not like me like this. They think I'm a weirdo. Yeah. And I'm like, where are these people? And you know where they are. They're all expats working for the UN. That's who it is.
Yeah.
Those are my people.
You're all working for the government or something.
Department.
Yeah, you need to work for the State Department. I have a neighbor who just did that.
Get out every 3 years. I know, it's weird. And so maybe I have issues. Scott, so take that. We have similar-ish childhoods. We have some genetic similarities, and we have very different responses to this.
Oh, completely different.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I'm more like, hey, make a good investment, put your roots in the grounds, cultivate it, make it rad, be a pillar of your little community, and just don't go anywhere.
Yeah, and mine is move in a place and be the nuisance in the neighborhood, and then get out.
And then get out. Right. Yeah. Drop a turd on the.
It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe
the party.
The fact that we sprang from the same loins is sometimes so interesting to me, because we are very different.
Yeah, very opposite.
Yeah,
you have anxiety, I don't. That's the thing that's strange to me. Is I genuinely can't even conjure it. Except I have to be honest, this week I'm feeling a little something.
Yeah.
That is
everybody
maybe
is
what
now.
You people would call anxiety.
You people.
Oh yeah. Now I know what it's like to be you people.
Yeah,
you people. It's hard.
Yeah, that's a weird week. Well, I wish you well during this week and hope that
Yeah, you too.
things
you guys too.
things go everyone's way, whatever those ways may be. Let's end it with a reminder about realsteps.org. Signups are always happening, and I got an email from you and the organization that's had the headline.
The final countdown.
Yeah, the final countdown, and then you
Yes.
went on to do a which
Yeah.
is amazing. So we do
you-
have
do
some
you know
things
how
in common.
long I had to Google and sing it to make sure it was accurate? And I
Right,
still
right.
don't
Doing
think
the
it is. I
da-da-da
still-
done. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I definitely
amazing.
did it
I
right.
love that you went through all that trouble. That's
I know,
fantastic
it's
to hear.
embarrassing. Yeah, and it's because it is the final countdown. We start Monday officially, but the last day to sign up is Sunday. So this Sunday, I will send one more email. I promise that will be it, everyone. But we'd love to have you. We already have a good group going, so it's exciting. We're gonna have a good Thanksgiving month together. It's gonna
Nice.
be
Go
great. So
check it
please
out.
join.
That's realsteps.org. Did he get his braces out, or do we not know yet?
He did not. He came out, and I said, "Smile," and I had to like stop myself from making a bad noise because he got black rubber bands, and it looks so bad. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh!
Yeah.
He looks terrible.
A Halloween face when you get those.
I know.
Yeah.
And you know what he said? He goes, "Doesn't matter. Wear a mask."
Nice. Is he
It
gonna-
is the time. Let's be clear on one silver lining. It is the time to be a zitty, brace-faced teenager
Mhm.
because you are not showing anybody any of it.
No.
Like you are just
Masked up, you're as handsome as your eyes
Nice.
are. Exactly.
Lucky.
Unless you got zit-covered eyes, you're good. You're golden.
Ew.
Yeah, I know. You don't want that. All right. Well, tell him congratulations on more time with his braces, and we will catch you next time right here on
Okay.
Therapy Thursday. We'll see you later.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye now. Okay. My sister. What a goofball.
Very good.
All right. There you go. That was good stuff. Hopefully, some of you also got peripheral help out of our discussion. Let us know if you did. You can send us emails and questions about Therapy Thursday at themorningstream@gmail.com. Okay. Well,
Okay, Scott.
it's the last show that we'll have before Halloween, except for our play date, which is happening Saturday, 9 a.m. That'll be on the 31st, right there on the Halloween day. And we're going to play Jackbox 7, which just came out.
Yeah.
With you, the listeners. And so all of you are encouraged to show up and be there. Patrons get in first in terms of participation, but there ends up being games where everybody can get in. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
come on by and check it out. That'll be this Saturday. That means no PM edition of the show on Friday, because that's what we do once a month, is we swap those two. Patreon.com/TMS is where all the details for how to be a patron is. Go check it out. And for everything else, frogpants.com/TMS. We shall now leave with a song, and Brian probably came prepared.
I did, believe it or not. By the way, I meant to say this earlier. Probably should have said in the beginning of the show, but Gidget normally would be here today giving us trivial things. She couldn't make it today because she's interviewing Randall Kleiser, who is the director of the film Grease, which I dragged my dad to see in theaters probably 6 or 7 times because I had a big crush on Olivia Newton-John. Still do.
I was really
Still
hoping
do.
you were going to say, what's his name? Not Olivia Newton-John.
John Travolta?
John Travolta, yeah. I had a huge
There you go.
crush on John Travolta and my
Not
dad.
with that. Not with that chin. Jeez. Have you learned nothing from me?
That's true.
Anyway,
That's a good point.
so she's doing that interview. She's going to edit it down and have it up on the feed. So check that out. But she'll be back here next week.
Excellent.
All right.
Excellent.
Jason